Do you know there is a country in the Middle East where entire cities were carved directly into the sides of mountains? A place where ancient kingdoms disappeared into the desert and remained hidden from the outside world for centuries. A land of red canyons, forgotten empires, Roman ruins, endless deserts, and landscapes so unreal they look like another planet. Most people know Jordan because of Petra, the famous stone city seen in movies and travel posters. But what most people do not realize is that Petra is only the beginning. Because Jordan hides one of the most extraordinary histories on Earth. A history carved not into paper or books, but directly into stone itself. And once you see what still survives here after thousands of years, you begin to understand why this desert kingdom has fascinated travelers for centuries. Before we go any further, I genuinely want to know where you are watching this documentary from right now. Drop your country or city in the comments below. People from all over the world watch these videos, and I always love seeing how far these stories travel. So let me know where you are, and let us begin this journey into Jordan.
The first thing that surprises people about Jordan is how dramatic the landscape feels. The country sits between some of the oldest civilizations in human history, bordered by Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, Israel, and Palestine. And yet much of Jordan feels isolated from the modern world, especially once you leave the capital city of Amman behind. The highways stretch through endless desert valleys. Massive sandstone cliffs rise out of nowhere. Ancient caravan routes still cut across the landscape exactly as they did thousands of years ago. There are moments driving through Jordan where you feel less like a tourist and more like someone traveling backward through time. And nowhere captures that feeling more than Petra. Hidden deep within southern Jordan, Petra was once the capital of the Nabatean kingdom, an Arab civilization that became incredibly wealthy by controlling ancient trade routes connecting Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean world. The Nabateans mastered the desert in ways that still amaze archaeologists today. They created advanced water systems, reservoirs, and hidden channels that allowed a massive city to survive in one of the driest regions on Earth.
But Petra's greatest mystery is not its engineering. It is the city itself. Because Petra was not built in the traditional sense. It was carved. Entire temples, tombs, stairways, and royal buildings were cut directly into the rose-red sandstone cliffs by hand more than 2,000 years ago. To reach Petra, you walk through a narrow canyon called the Sick. The walls rise hundreds of feet above you, twisting and narrowing, until suddenly, without warning, the canyon opens and reveals the treasury, Petra's most famous structure. Even if you have seen photographs 100 times before, the first real sight of it is overwhelming. The scale, the color of the stone glowing orange and pink in the sunlight, the silence of the canyon around it. It feels less like discovering a city and more like uncovering a secret hidden by the earth itself. But Petra is far larger than most visitors realize. The famous treasury is only one small part of an enormous ancient city spread across valleys and mountains. There are hundreds of tombs carved into the cliffs, massive royal chambers, hidden temples, ancient theaters, long staircases climbing toward mountain monasteries high above the desert floor. At its height, Petra may have held over 30,000 people. And yet eventually, the city faded. Trade routes changed. Earthquakes damaged the infrastructure. The desert slowly reclaimed the empire carved into stone.
For centuries, Petra disappeared from the outside world almost completely. Local Bedouin tribes always knew it was there, but to much of the world, the city became legend. Then, in 1812, a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt disguised himself as an Arab traveler and convinced a local guide to take him into the hidden city. When Petra was revealed again to the Western world, it felt almost unbelievable. An entire ancient civilization hidden inside the desert cliffs. And Jordan's story does not end there. The country is filled with ruins and lost worlds that most travelers never see. In the north lies Jerash, one of the best preserved Roman cities anywhere on Earth. Walking through Jerash feels almost surreal because the city still looks remarkably alive. Massive stone streets lined with columns stretch into the distance. Temples, plazas, arches, and theaters still stand after nearly 2,000 years. The Roman Empire once reached all the way into Jordan, and Jerash remains one of the clearest reminders of how enormous that empire truly was.
Then there is Wadi Rum, the desert valley so unusual that filmmakers repeatedly use it to represent other planets. Movies like The Martian, Dune, and Star Wars were all filmed here because the landscape barely feels earthly. Giant sandstone mountains rise suddenly from flat red desert sands. The silence is almost total. At night, the stars above Wadi Rum are some of the clearest in the world. Bedouin tribes still live throughout this region, preserving traditions that go back generations. Sitting beside a fire in a Bedouin camp under the desert sky, surrounded by silence and stone, you understand why humans have always been drawn to deserts in search of something spiritual. Jordan also holds one of the most important rivers in human history. The Jordan River itself flows along the country's western border and carries enormous significance in Christianity. According to tradition, this is where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Pilgrims from around the world still come to the baptism site today, stepping into the same river that has shaped religious history for thousands of years.
If this journey through Jordan surprised you or showed you something you had never seen before, leave a comment and tell me which part fascinated you the most. And if someone you know loves travel, history, or hidden places, share this documentary with them. Subscribe if you have not already, because every week we explore the places and stories most people never truly get to see. I will see you in the next one.